back, ladies and gentlemen, to Big Red Mining's channel, Mining for an Electric Future here. Joining us is the director, Rodney Stevens. Welcome back, sir.
Good to see you again, Kyle.
Always a pleasure to see you. So it's been a little bit of a while since we've dove down into Big Red, and I figured we get some updates today because you guys recently announced the discovery of a high-grade copper at 6.8 meters of 1.2% copper, including 3.8 meters of 2.05%. And just to give some better clerical insight while you explain, we have the results right here. So what does this mean for Big Red Mining?
Well, so far it's good results in terms that it's confirmed the historic workings that we already know about. It's the first batch of holes, so we have some more batches coming. And but overall, I wouldn't say that it constitutes in a discovery. It's still early in the drill program, and we have to do the complete drilling program and put everything together to see what we find. But there's copper there. And getting 1% plus copper or 3.97% copper over 1.2 meters, anything over 1% is great. So we are getting the high percentage in copper. And you'll also notice that in a hole DI 2103, roughly 0.5% of the historic holes that we've drilled in the Kamanaska zone, they've averaged 0.5%, which is still very economic. But we would like to see some larger widths too. But overall, they're in line with our expectations. They don't constitute a discovery at this point, but maybe the future drill holes will. Sometimes it takes a number of drilling programs before the market will add it up and say, boom, there's a discovery here.
Yeah, no worries. Now, before we kind of just discuss kind of the drill program and what we got laid out in the upcoming news cycle, but first and foremost, for newer and kind of the retail audience here, can you kind of just discuss what kind of grades of copper compared to like other, copper miners out there and explorers? What makes a decent grade to you?
Well, it depends what the nature of the deposit is. So most of the copper resources in the world are being mined out, and the copper grades are getting lower and lower and lower, but the mining operations are getting larger and larger scale. So you can mine 0.2% copper or 0.1% copper if it's like a large 40,000 ton per day open pit mine. But so basically scale has a lot to do with what's economic. If you're mining narrow veins like 2 meters, such as the ones that we've reported in our recent results, for 1 to 2 meters in width, you do want to get around the 1% copper grade. But what we are drilling is a shear zone hosted system where you can see in some areas 10 to 30 meters, it pinches and swells, but because it's a shear zone hosted system, you can get large tonnage. So in the wider zones, you'd expect the grade to decrease, in which 0.5% copper is still highly economic over, say, 5 or 6 meters. But when you get down to the 1 to 2 meter range, you want plus 1% copper. So we're looking at economic grades of mineralization here. It's really just sort of putting together enough tonnage so that you could say there's an economic concentration of copper mineralization such that you can develop a mechanized mining system operation for. So it's just the grades are there. It's just sort of adding up the tonnage to be sufficient for an economic concentration of mineralization.
Yeah, and as you continue to kind of add that up, what is the drill program cycles coming in like? When are we going to see some more of those drill results?
Well, the second batch has been completed, and I believe they should be reported. I think they're at the assay labs, and they should be reported any week now.
Okay, so we got some more results we can look forward to.
Yeah, they should be out pretty soon. Now, just to give your viewers sort of a baseline expectation, I don't, the results, good or bad, I mean, there has to be a stage at which I think the market shows that, or discounts the fact that we do have a discovery here, which might take a few drilling programs to see that all the tonnage holds together and that we have a mine here. So we do expect good drill results, but we expect, it might take more than one drilling program to put all the tonnage together. But so far what we are getting is economic grade. And we're just looking for economic concentration. So we're getting that. And what's encouraging is that we have the new zone that we only intersect the alpha vein, which has economic grade in any case, but it shows that there's mineralization there. So we might be able to add some tonnage in that new zone that we found as well.
So lots of blue sky opportunities to look forward to here.
There's so much potential to put the tonnage together. I think that it's just a matter of doing it. So we are getting the copper. We just got to add the tonnage.
So on that note, expanding out a little bit globally, just for kind of the retail audience here, between geopolitical tensions, the continued inflation problems, does any of this have a major impact on copper?
Well, I think with the recent tension between Russia and Ukraine, we're going to see inflation potentially accelerate even more, especially as it, if it impacts oil and gas prices, which it is doing. But, and the broader markets tanking as a result of course, because the prospect of war is never good for business. But as a general rule of thumb, you should never sell on a war scare, or even an actual war. What you should be doing is, as part of history, is buying the dips, or at the very least not selling, because it makes no sense to be moving away when fear is high in the market. That's the time to be getting more aggressive. Just as a caveat on that, you do want to be buying dips in sectors that are in bull markets. So the broader markets, the blue chip stocks, the tech stocks are in bull markets, but also gold and copper and oil are in bull markets as well. So it's safe. I would say the thing is to buy these dips for sure. That's the major impact, is that it creates a great buying opportunity.
100%. On that note, Rodney, I appreciate your insights today. Thanks so much for coming out.
My pleasure, Kyle.
And on that note, folks, of course, we pass the question off to you. Let us know what you think in that comment section below. Would love to hear about it. Consider subscribing, because as these drill results come out and the news hits the wire, we'll be releasing it here as well. So subscribe, get some updates, stay cool, stay awesome. And as always, I look forward to catching you in the next one.